Welcome to Reverse Mortgage Radio, hosted by Legend's very own reverse mortgage professor, Bruce Simmons. You have so many options with a reverse mortgage, everyone has a different opinion, and the government keeps changing the rules. You need to hear from the first certified reverse mortgage professional in Colorado to specialize exclusively in reverse mortgages, one of few in the state with the letter CRMP after his name. Bruce has the specific training and education you need to understand what you're buying. Now, here's your host, Bruce Simmons.
Today we're going to talk about a term that you probably are familiar with, but may not fully understand. Aging in place. I know most of my clients, they tell me, I'm leaving here feet first, or they're taking me out in a wooden box. That's the only way they're getting me out of this house. And that's fine, that's great. But you may think you understand aging in place, but there's things you can do to age in place better. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons of aging in place today, as well as things that you can do to live your best life while aging in place. But also how a reverse mortgage can help with that too, because after all, you are listening to Reverse Mortgage Radio, right? My name is Bruce Simmons, and you can reach me directly if you have any questions about reverse mortgage at 303-467-7821. 303-467-7821 is my direct line. You can reach me there. I work for a company called American Liberty Mortgage. We're local in Denver, although I help people out all along the Front Range and up in the hills and everything else too, all over Colorado, really. And we're also licensed in other states. If you know people, you've got a parent in Florida or Arizona or Texas or something, let me know, because if I'm not licensed in that state, I know a lot of people who are. You can also visit me, though, online at reversemortgageradio.net, reversemortgageradio.net. And in the upper right-hand corner now, you can click on Get a Quote, or keep meaning to go there and check it out exactly, because it's new. It's a new feature on my website. So if you haven't been there in a while, do that. Go there. You can get a free quote, and you don't have to wait for somebody to call you back. I'm not going to sell your information or anything like that. You can input some information, some basic info, and you'll get a number, a quote on how much you can get. It's not exact, it's not perfect, but it'll give you a good ballpark to tell you, yes, I can do this or I can't do it, one or the other. If you're close, please call me, even if it says you're $10,000 short or something to pay off your existing mortgage. Let me know. Please call me. I'd love to. I'll tweak some numbers and see if we can figure it out, because that system's not perfect yet. So, but today we're going to be talking about aging in place. Before we get in too deep into it, we do need to kind of define it. Aging in place refers to the ability of older adults to live independently, comfortably, and safely. Those are the three key factors here. You need to have all three of those. But you want to live in your own home or your community as you age, rather than moving to a long-term care facility. The concept emphasizes maintaining your quality of life and autonomy, with support, obviously, from family, friends, or community services. It also involves sometimes, or it could involve, I should say, making home modifications and planning for future needs to ensure safety and accessibility. It could be as simple as getting one of those those little necklaces that you wear, where if you fall, you can hit the button and somebody will be notified that you're injured. That's very important if you have mobility issues, especially. But because I've known my wife's grandmother had a problem where she was in a facility, actually. She was in an independent care facility. She had her own place, but she had fallen, and her little necklace thing, whatever it's called, was up on the dresser, and she couldn't get up because she broke her hip, and she couldn't get up to get it. And she stayed there about 3.5 hours before her neighbor came after breakfast, because she missed breakfast, and found her and said, hey, we got to help her out here. But it could be as simple as that, or it could be modifying your entire house for a wheelchair, widening the hallways. It could be fixing the bathroom so you've got one of those sinks where your wheelchair can fit underneath. Any of those things and in between. Okay, so the importance of staying in familiar surroundings is huge with aging in place, because that's the comfort level. That's where you want to live independently, because you are familiar with that. You understand that yeah, this is where I'm at. I know my stove, okay, and I'm going to remember to turn it off. I'm going to remember where the bathroom is in the middle of the night. You know, if you go to a new facility, it may take a while before you gather all that stuff in. And so it's important to be aware of these things when you're making decisions that are going to affect you for the rest of your life, no matter how long your life is going to be afterwards, whether it's another 30 years or 2 years. You want to be aware of these things that are going to impact your lifestyle. I did a reverse mortgage once for a lady who was getting, she had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and she knew she was not going to be in her home more than a year, but doggone it, she was not going to leave her home. Luckily, she had a lot of equity in her home, and we were able to do a reverse mortgage for her and pay her. But it started out at like, I think $5,000 or $6,000 a month for in-home care, and it ended up over $9,000 the last couple of months because her level of care kept being ramped up that she needed for that terrible disease. And she only stayed there 9 months, but she wanted to stay in her home. And this reverse mortgage allowed her to age in place with support from the community, because she had to pay somebody to do that, although her family was very involved as well. But the challenges with aging in place, some of those are, you've got financial constraints. If you don't have the money to get your home safe, it could be, think about the color of your carpet and the color of your walls, or the color of your floor and your walls. If they're similar, as your eyesight is affected, that could be very challenging, especially at night when you're walking, and you could easily hit your foot on the corner of the wall and fall because you didn't see exactly where the doorway was. A lot of different things. And just painting the wall a different color sometimes can make a huge difference. But like I said, if you need major things, you might just need a ramp up to your the stairs leading to your front door. That's possible too. Healthcare and support services. That's something else that costs money. If you need a ride, there's places that offer that for free for some people, but if you need somebody to come and get you to take you to the senior center, then that may cost money. Or it may cost money for somebody to take you somewhere else, or to have groceries delivered or things of that nature. All of that stuff, those are community services that may cost money. Sometimes you can get things for free, which is you really want to, and I'm no expert at that. Unfortunately, I don't know as well as I should probably about all the different resources, because every community has different resources. If you're in Aurora, you've got different resources than you might if you're in Wheat Ridge or if you're in Denver. So you got to keep those things in mind. But there's a lot of resources available that people just don't understand or don't know where to look. If you go online, a lot of times you can do that and ask for help too from family. But you also, one of the challenges of living at home is maintaining a sense of purpose and identity. That's huge, because so many people, unfortunately, you're sitting around watching daytime TV all day and you're not active. You're not moving, which is critical as you age, because the less you move, I know it hurts sometimes because I've been there, but the more you move, the better you feel down the road too. And having those social connections, whether it's getting together for bridge with neighbors, or having people come over to play cards with you, or a hobby, quilting or stamp collecting, whatever it may be, and being connected with people who are also interested in those hobbies. That's very important as well. Being in that mindset that you want to be there. Now, these are hobbies that you don't have to move around a lot for. If you're still active and young, maybe you like to bike ride, maybe you like to volunteer. That is I think the most important thing. If you can get out and you can volunteer at schools with kids, that'll keep you young, being around kids. But join a group like Kiwanis or Rotary or Optimist Club that get together on a weekly basis for breakfast or lunch, that where you can make friends too. And then they know, hey, Joan has missed 3 weeks in a row now or missed this meeting, and she's always here. We should probably call to make sure she's okay. I know in my Kiwanis Club, a fellow that's 91 years old or 90, he missed a meeting and he showed up this next week, and I said, hey, we missed you. Is everything okay? He's like, yeah, we just went up to our cabin in Wyoming. He and his wife just drove up there at 90 years old. And I'm like, hey, this guy's awesome. But those are things that if he wasn't there, we were going to give him a call because he never misses 2 meetings in a row. But those are important. So you've got to maintain that sense of purpose and identity. It's tough, especially if you're working until you're, say, 70 or 75, and then you retire, and especially if your spouse passes away and you retire, that's really hard. You've been married for 40, 50, 60 years sometimes, and if you lose that person, you have to understand that it's okay to ask for help, that sometimes everybody needs a little help now and again. Believe me, I'm a guy and I understand I don't like asking for help, but you have to sometimes, especially men, because if a wife passes away, men's diets go downhill fast, especially in that age group for the baby boomers, because the women just were the cooks of the family most of the time. I know some guys that love to cook, and I barbecue, but I don't cook. My wife does all the cooking. If something happened to her, I'd be in trouble. I'd have to hire a personal chef or do something. But anyways, it's important to maintain a healthy diet as well. And to make sure that you clean your house. It's easy. I meet with a lot of people, and I go to their homes, and there's papers piled a foot high on their dining room table and a little area cut out where they might sit to eat sometimes. That's not the best way to maintain a good sense of purpose and identity, and you want to maintain your house and have it clean as well. But how can a reverse mortgage help you with this? All of those things, well, not all of them, but a lot of those things that I'm talking about cost money, right? And it's fantastic if you own your home free and clear. Congratulations. A lot of people's parents or grandparents said, that's the goal. You've got to own your home free and clear, then they can't take it from you. Well, you still have expenses. You still have maintenance. And that's one of the challenges with aging in place as well, is maintaining your home, shoveling snow. If you have to get out of the driveway, you don't want to take a chance of slipping on the driveway or trying to drive and then you get stuck someplace or in your driveway because the snow is there and you didn't have somebody come and shovel it for you. But even just having a neighbor with a snowblower or a kid come and cut your lawn or shovel your snow for you. And now, in Denver, if you don't get it cleared by a certain time period, you get fined as well. So these things are factors that you want to consider, because maybe as much as you want to stay in your own home, it might not be what's best for you. And that's not my call to make or anything like that. If somebody wants a reverse mortgage, I'm going to make sure they understand how it works, the pros and cons of it, and talk to them about, well, maybe, are you sure you want to stay here? I ask everybody that. Is this a place you want to stay for the foreseeable future? If they say yes, then that's fine. But I don't know your entire situation. I don't know. Maybe the reverse mortgage is going to help you pay for that upkeep on the home. Maybe it'll pay for somebody to come and cut your lawn or to shovel your snow or to cook you meals as well, or clean your house, because that's little things like that can add up, and they hurt people's self-esteem. If you've kept a perfect, beautiful home your whole life and now you're 85 and it's really difficult, even though you're not having a lot of people over, it's still dust and stuff just gets dirty, especially if there's a forest fire going on somewhere and there's a lot of smoke, things like that. Dirt piles up, and it's good, really good. It feels good to have somebody come and clean your house. I know my wife and I had a gathering of family members recently, and we were both so busy. I said, we're going to pay to have somebody come and clean the house, at least the main floor area. And we did that. And it just is so nice not to be stressing about making sure that the house is clean. Because my wife was cooking, I was working in the yard stuff and getting things done, and I was busy with work as well. And it's just a nice feeling to have somebody do that for you sometimes. Every now and again, if you can find a service, there are places that will do this for elderly homeowners to help them out. And sometimes even just getting your hair or nails done, if you're a woman, to make you feel better. There's places that will do stuff like that for you for free. But again, I don't know anything about how to find those people. The reverse mortgage can also the main purpose of the reverse mortgage is to relieve financial stress. If you don't happen to own your home free and clear and you're struggling to make a mortgage payment, especially if you've lost a spouse over the last year or two, now you're living on one income and you've always had two. It's difficult, very difficult to make ends meet, especially with inflation and the cost of goods going up, cost of everything going up, just gas and taxes and homeowners insurance, all this stuff. Just maintaining your home is very expensive. But if you want to stay there, a reverse mortgage can help you. Possibly. It depends on how much you owe. Because the way a reverse mortgage works, I probably should explain this too. The way a reverse mortgage works is it's an FHA insured loan. Most of the time, it's an FHA insured loan that's specifically designed for people that are 62 and over. It allows you to convert a portion of the value of your home, not just the equity, but the value of your home, into money that you can spend. However, we have to be able to loan you enough to pay off any existing loans on your home. So if, for example, if we can loan you $150,000 and you only owe $100,000 on your mortgage, well, that's great. We can loan you the $100,000 to pay off that existing mortgage and eliminate the principal and interest portion of your mortgage payment. It's still your responsibility to pay your own property taxes and homeowners insurance, keep the home up, maintain it, and also keep your name on title and live there as your primary residence. As long as you do those things, the loan can never be called due. But that extra $50,000 that's left over, you can use that however you want. You can leave it set aside in a line of credit. You can take some out as a lump sum with restrictions in the first year, but after that, there's no restrictions. And then you can also take it as a monthly stipend where we pay you every month. If you do your budget and you say, hey, I'm running $600 short a month, well, we could set up a monthly payment for you to make that gap up for you on a monthly payment. Now, if we can loan you $150,000, but your mortgage is $170,000, well, now we can't help you because we can't loan you enough to pay off your existing mortgage. That's a requirement with a reverse mortgage. However, and I'm talking to a couple about this right now, if you're $20,000 short, so we have to pay off your mortgage. That's the goal of the reverse mortgage. Eliminate that mortgage payment. That's the first thing we have to do. We can't do that because we can only loan you $150,000, but you owe $170,000. So there's a $20,000 gap there. Let's say you have $100,000 in a CD or some other savings account. You can take $20,000 of that money and apply it towards your mortgage payment to pay down your mortgage to $150,000, and now we can come in and give you a reverse mortgage to pay the rest of it off. And that would eliminate that payment for you. So let's say your principal and interest payment in that case is, just to keep numbers simple, it's $1,000. Okay? It's $1,000 a month that you're saving because your taxes and insurance you still have to pay. But you're saying, well, I have to bring $20,000. This is going to cost me $20,000 to do this loan. But you make that thousand, you're saving $1,000 a month. So in 20 months, you've got that $20,000 back. And then from that point forward, you're saving $1,000 a month. And so it can make sense for some people. I'm talking to a guy right now. We've got the application in process. Hopefully we'll close next week or the week after. He's bringing $65,000 to closing, and I'm talking to another couple right now that's about $11,000 short. And as interest rates come down, we can increase the amount of money we can loan, because FHA dictates to us, the lender, how much we can loan. It's based on the age of the youngest homeowner, the value of the home, and the interest rate. The higher the interest rate and the younger you are, the less money we can loan as a percentage of the value. The older you are and the lower the interest rate, then the more money we can loan. And so that's how it works. And luckily, the rates have been coming down. They came down again last week a little bit, and they're coming down a little this week so far. Or actually, yeah. And anyways, as the rate comes down, we can loan a higher percentage. Not dramatically. When the Federal Reserve lowers their interest rate, and I'll probably talk about this next week because the Federal Reserve is going to lower their rate. But once they lower the rate, I know I'm going to be getting a lot of calls. Everybody's going to be saying, hey, the interest rates are lower now. Does that help me qualify, or can I get more money now? Well, no, you can't, because that rate has already been built in, okay? Basically, the market, the interest rate market, the bond market, they know that the Federal Reserve is going to lower rates. The Federal Reserve signaled that a month ago, and rates started coming down then. That's why the rates are lower now than they were a month ago, because we know that the Federal Reserve is going to lower rates next week. If they don't lower rate, then the rates are going to jump up, even though the Federal Reserve is keeping everything the same, because the expectation is that they're going to lower. We don't know how much, if it's going to be a half a point or a quarter of a point. There's mixed reviews on that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It could be a negative factor, but we'll get into more details in that next week. Actually, next week I was going to talk about something else too, but I'm sure I'll touch on it because it'll happen. All right, let's get back to the reverse mortgages, okay? So a reverse mortgage can help you age in place with upfront modifications to your home. Like I said before, if maybe you need to remodel your bathroom with a walk-in tub and one of those sinks that you can scoot a wheelchair under. Maybe you need to widen a couple doorways, or even maybe it's just put a ramp. If your spouse is in a wheelchair and you put a ramp in the front to take care of the stairs there. Things like that are very simple. Or maybe you want to fund a hobby or a passion. Let's say you're still active and it's been a dream for years, for your decades, that you want to visit Italy. You're from Italy. Your family is from a small town in Italy. You really want to go back there, and you've got some relatives, or even it could be California or New York or someplace. But you want to make this trip while you still can. A reverse mortgage can help you with that. Or maybe it's funding a hobby. Maybe it's painting. You want to have an art studio in your home, convert a bedroom to an art studio, and you need to buy some equipment for that. You can do things like that with a reverse mortgage. Those are simple things that can dramatically impact the quality of life and your ability to live happily in your own home. Or maybe it's supporting your volunteer efforts. Like I said, I'm a member of Kiwanis. That costs money every month to be a member of a club. But the friendship and the goodwill that I get from that club and the sense of purpose in volunteering. I'm going to be volunteering later, with Build-A-Bed, where we're building beds for kids that don't have beds. Maybe they finally got into a permanent housing situation, but there's no bed for the kid. And we're building these beds for them. I'm going to be working at a car show in Arvada tomorrow on Sunday. And I'm really looking forward to that because it's a lot of fun. I get to barbecue. I get to cook all the brats and burgers and things there for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So things like that are important, but they cost money to be a member of a club, to do things like that. Or what if you want to go back to school? What if you want to take a class on writing? You've had a dream of writing your memoirs, but you want it to be decent, okay? You don't want just scribbles from some, thoughts of crazy thoughts that are in no order, and you want to take a class on how to do that. Scrapbooking. My wife used to scrapbook with Precious Memories, or I can't remember the name of the organization. I sometimes we'll be sitting there having tea on a Saturday afternoon, and I'll just pull out one of these albums. We did this just a couple weeks ago, looking at our kids when they were little. And the dog, this was like in 2003, our trip to New England. That was such a great photo album that she did, and it's memories that we look back on now. If you want to capture some of those things, that's a great way to do it. But again, things like that can always cost money. Now, you want to also, too, just keep in mind that it's important to age in place. If that's important to you, to stay where you're at, you've been there for 40 years and you want to stay there. How can you do that? And remember those three things that we talked about, because you want to do it independently, comfortably, and safely. Now, sometimes too, and I've mentioned this before, more and more seniors are getting roommates. And sometimes if you got a roommate, say, that cooked, maybe you could discount the rent. And there's organizations that can do background checks and things like that. You just have to do a little bit of homework on it. I don't know what they are offhand. But there you're still maintaining your own independence, but you've got somebody living there in case something happens, as long as they're somebody good. You want to make sure that you do a good background check and things on that. But you want to give all these things serious consideration. It's my mom just moved in, or she's just made the decision to move into one of those progressive facilities, continuing care facilities, where she's moving into an independent place. She's going to be 82 next month, and she's moving into an independent place, but she's got the option to move to assisted living and then a nursing home, all three in one. Luckily, she's got the money to do that, because it's a big buy-in and then it's an expensive monthly cost, and she might live for another 10 plus years. I'm sure she'll live past 90, and she's only 82. So that's going to cost a lot of money. Now, a reverse mortgage does not help in that situation because you don't own the place. You're basically renting. But the key factor is if you're thinking you're going to do that in 5 years, you may not want to do a reverse mortgage today because you're going to want as much equity in your home as possible. Those are factors that you want to keep in mind. If you were to tell me that was your goal to be able to afford to do that later, I would probably advise against a reverse mortgage because it doesn't make sense for that situation. Whatever your situation is, if you have questions about reverse mortgages, please call me. You can reach me directly at 303-513-2748. 303-513-2748. My name is Bruce Simmons. I'm the reverse mortgage manager with American Liberty Mortgage Incorporated here in Denver. And you can also visit me online at reversemortgageradio.net. reversemortgageradio.net. Go there, download my consumer guide. I've got a free consumer guide on site. You can also get a quote. Find out how much you can qualify for with a reverse mortgage in the upper right-hand corner. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I look forward to talking with you one-on-one at some point down the road. Have a great day.
Call Bruce Simmons today. Ask about his free Colorado Consumer Guide, 303-467-7821 or reversemortgageradio.net. Bruce will come to you anywhere across the Front Range to make sure you understand how reverse mortgages work. Regulated by DORA, NMLS number 409914. American Liberty Mortgage is an equal housing lender.